from Eastburn Models. Welcome back. On today's program we're going to be going over how I created the roof tiles for the 1/24th scale church that my previous videos have been showing. If you haven't seen any of them videos, please take a look. But we'll be going over the process and what I use to build this. I like doing it this way because I've got the texture of the stone, of the old stone roofing slabs they used to put onto the old churches back in the day. So as you can tell, it's a 3D image. You can see the unevenness of everything, but that's what the stones was. So I'll go over that bit now, but I love the texture of them. These are ready now for going through the airbrush and highlighting all those features. So we'll go through what I use. Again, I use just simple egg boxes, a bit like we did on the church, what we did on the walls, to make them look like random stone walls. So, you know, but this time we're going to be doing it a bit differently because now we need it for the actual roofs of the church. And I've done a couple here already, which will be, they're on the drying side now. So as you can tell, they're all basically ready for trimming down and sorting out. And I like the fact that I have got the unevenness everywhere, and some of them are lifted in places, so it just adds to the character of the building, that's all. So we've done all them. I've got another one of these long ones to do, but what we'll be doing on camera today is, just because it's just a quick demo, we're going to be doing this, which is the other part to this ceiling, to this part of the roof that goes on the church. So we'll do this one first, and like I said, we'll use the egg boxes when it decides to focus. I'm using just the same egg boxes because they're smooth on one side, but I've got a great texture on the inside. So all I do is I just rip the corners down like so. I use every part of this egg box. I don't waste anything. I use every single part of it, even down to the knobbly bits in the middle. I'll show you a great use what I've found with them. Just cut that there. I'll only cut a few to show you, but yeah, I use everything because the actual tiles that we're using, I've got a big stack here. The 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters, and we use, so as you can tell, once you've trimmed a nice edge, you don't need to be absolutely bang on with these things. You want the texture, you want the roughness of the cut. You know, if you're bearing in mind that I could probably get about 6 out of that, just that little strip there. So when you're talking about paying nearly £7 or £8 just for 50 of these, it can be expensive. Nearly, you know, it's nearly £20 to get 100, and yet I've just created them out of an egg box. So what we do is move these to one side, and we just cut off the knobbly bit in the middle. I always try and keep as much, I cut it in a way that I can keep as much on it to get a square into it. And then we just trim them off, because what I've found with these is, these are fantastic for, I've got a stack of them here when I've been doing the rest of the ceilings. They're great, these, for just placing your models on top to lift them off the ground. So that's what I kind of use them for. because I'm not, they don't cost anything basically, they're just cut-offs what we're going to go in the bin anyway, so I tend to use as much as I can from things. So we'll just move them over there, there, there. We just try and cut a nice edge on there, and all I do is I get my ruler and I just measure 2 up, 2 centimetres, that is 2 centimetres across there, then it's 2 centimetres again, 2, 4, 6, we don't want that. Then I just cut it with a pair of scissors, like so. And I just keep going and going and going till I've got the right amount that I need. So because I've already got some pre-cut, I don't need to keep going all over. But I will, off camera, I will go and cut loads more out of these just to keep the tub, just to keep my stash into a nice quantity, that's all. So now we've got them, just get me my slate, what I use for gluing so I don't make a mess of my green mat that you're all used to seeing. And then we'll find out which is the top and which is the bottom. So I know it's going to go on that way, so we know that that's the top. I just know because of the way it goes onto the model. And then we just get as PVA glue, we just smother all that in like that, and then we just get as tiles, and you want to go square on the first run, because this roof itself actually overhangs, which is just enough for what I need it for. Now they don't have to meet up perfect as long as you get the front end thing, because you want a slight gap, because like I said, well I do anyway, because on my airbrushing I'm going to be adding the spray techniques to get mould, not mould, moss. So some of these are overcut, but it doesn't matter too much. I'm just grabbing any out just because I know it doesn't make a difference on this roof, because you'll see in a minute. And then we just go across again, just put something back of there as well, just grab his little paintbrush, and then we just dab a load on, just onto the ends of the tiles, and then we go half and half. So we've got 2 there, so you want to be going half and half on these ones. Like I said, it doesn't matter how big they are, it's just to comparison to each other. It just adds to the look that I'm going for. This is just to give you an idea of what it's going to be looking like, but you need to try and keep these in line with each other so they don't look, you don't end up with arches in the stonework, because that's not how it would be on a building. Even back in the day it wouldn't have been like that. Like I said, you don't need to get it absolutely smack bang on, but somewhere in the right region will be absolutely fine. Just make sure we stick them down, and then there. And we just keep smothering. You can be very liberal with the glue. You don't need to be too tight with it. And again, we've got half and half, so I don't ever worry about that being a half, because that gap will always change. So I always go to the next tile on and infill the end pieces myself. So we just keep going over. Like so. And the beauty about this egg box carton is it's about 3mm thick, so it gives a really nice thickness to the stone slabs that you'd have found before slate, basically. Pump that on there. See, this is why I use the slate, because glue just ends up everywhere. And then we'll go half on there again, like so. Come across to there, just spin that so you've got a line, which is there. Move it up to there. And there. So, and then again we'll just trim out, bend that into a bit of a flat box, that's fine. Just move that over like that. And then we'll trim a bit off there to create that. It don't matter about the depth here, because all that's getting covered up. All we're trying to do is create the look, basically. And then we'll put plenty of glue there just so it can soak into the card as well, while adhere to the next layer. Straighten that there. There. There's no science to how you do this. Some tiles are bigger than the other tiles, and you know, that's just how I prefer it. But this is just to give you an example of the things that you can use, like egg boxes. I've practically built this whole thing, all the walls, everything, out of egg boxes, and just stuck it onto the actual design itself. But just make sure we get that. So we don't need to buy, like I say, you know, I've got a 1/24 scale model, so it's relatively, it's still a nice size, but the last thing you want is to be buying tiles for it at the cost that they're running in at. It's not so much the tiling, it's, I nearly messed up, I didn't put it half and half. Just make sure you put the top edge flat. Square it off. I'll just turn that around so I can see what I'm doing. Like so. Just keep halving them. Like that. And then we'll put a full tile on there. Because I do want the slight unevenness to them, because you want the church to look like it's been stood there for a lot of years. See, that's got a, I'll put that there because it'll act like a repair, and then I can keep my middle line. And then that onto there like that. And then I'll just grab my brush and just flatten them out, just so it'll all dry clear anyway, but I just don't want any lumps in the glue. Like so. And once that is completely dried, it looks like it's lifting on camera, but it's not. And then once that's dried, then we trim off all the edges, and then that will give us something like that when it's completely dried. And that's ready now for airbrushing into all the gaps and painting a different colour, but still keeping the old stone look. And that's basically what I wanted to show you today on how we create. Now you can use these for, I'm using them for roof tiles like I did on the church as well. Then I used them, so let me move the glue table, just move that out of the way. So for these I had cut-offs like these, and I just stuck them on my previous videos with the glue. Then as the glue was setting and it was getting a bit more firmer to handle, I could mould these into the shape just with my finger running round each one, not putting too much pressure on, to give it the stone effect, the random wall effect. So that's what all them was used for. Then I've used the exact same cardboard again. Let's move them. I've used the exact same cardboard again, as you've just seen, to create the shingles, the square shingles for the top. But realistically, that's the way I've done it. Now, on another one of the projects that I'm going to be doing, I will be using these and cutting them into squares, stones, and bricking the house up with them. A bit like red brick, but they'll be sandstone to make the house look a lot more moderner. And then we'll be airbrushing all the dark black into it and everything like that to make them look weathered, like you find when you look at this kind of wall on a street. It doesn't stay this colour forever. It all goes black in places and green, and same with these. That's why I liked the way the glue and the cardboard absorbed the glue to make it, and when it dried, because the outer shell dried, the glue dried on the outer quicker than the inside, it sealed all the damping, which just give you the highlights on the areas of the bricks, which make it look weathered as well. So that's what I like about that. Obviously this won't do it on here because we're not on there. We filled it full of PVA glue to seal the brick. On here I'm not doing that. I'm not going to give it a glaze like I did with that one, because I do want to add different features into it. So that's why I've done it the way I have now. So apart from that, I will put a picture up of the church during this thing. You might have already seen it. I don't know whether to put it up at the back end when I finish this or bring it into the front, but you'll find that one out. So just a couple of things there for you to learn, and that's how we create the walls situation. I've even done models where these have been the actual walls to the garden. So I've got a lovely white painted house, a modern house with sandstone walls going around it, and this is how I created the bricks. And it's just another way of making it look 3D. Well, it's not making it look 3D, it is 3D, but just you're not having to buy 3D wallpaper to get the same effect, when a little bit more time sat here cutting these little bricks out of some cardboard. You've got to always make sure that the cardboard, you can use any cardboard you want, cereal boxes, delivery parcel boxes, anything, but you must make sure that it's got some form of texture on it. A lot of the cardboard you get is a smooth cardboard, a bit like this box set here. You know, it's a smooth, but it's corrugated. They tend to use this stuff, they peel the top layer off, and because it's corrugated inside, as you can see there, when you peel the top layer off, it's like a corrugated roof what you put onto garages and everything like that, and they just rustic it out with the colours, make it look like a tin roof. So again, it's just simple things like with cardboard. But when you're doing textures for houses, you need to have some form of brick effect texture, and that's what I've created here by using the rough part of the, I don't know if it'll zoom in. No, it's not playing ball today, this camera. Yeah, you've got a rough side and a smooth side. You always want the rough side. That's what gives it the texture. That's all that's on here. You've got the rough side facing up and the smooth side down. There is, every now and again you will see it's the opposite way around, but it's because I was going for the random wall look. But on here, you need the texture to be permanently facing up. Otherwise it will look odd. So that's it for today, guys. And I will send some more images up of the church as the progress is getting on. I've still got, now we've done that one there, I've still got another one to do here, so I'll crack on with that now, and that way then I've got all my roof parts done, and then I can build it all up, do what they call a dry fit again, and then I can take some images and show you what it actually looks like up to now. And then we've got to take it all back to bits, because I'm going to be making my own parquet flooring for the base of the church. So we've got to explode the whole thing again and so I can put that on camera. But yeah, just a great tip of these little cones from the centre of the egg boxes. Even if you've got egg boxes at home and you're not really wanting the egg boxes to do anything with, just cut the cones out of them, because they are brilliant little model stands or things to stop the glue from getting everywhere, and you know, so you can get your hands under and everything now. But they're great for spray booths, and you're not bothered about destroying them because they're just cardboard. They're just out of an egg box. That's all they are. So just another quick tip while we're on here, just keep them to one side. It's not a problem at all. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. We will be back hopefully this week when I show you my new, working on building a orbital battery powered sander, but a detail sander. So that's coming up. I'm just waiting for some parts to get here, just so I can show you how we do it, just using something that's normally in your house and probably lying around a lot at time. But that'll be coming up on this channel, and until next time guys, take care. Thank you.